Hey guys, Dino'sbreath here, and welcome back to another video. In this video, I want to more highlight something that is not really talked about that much. The features that people want in the game. Now, little known, you can actually send feedback directly to them by going to their feedback website. And on it, they have a lot of it's where people post a lot of things, and I have personally thrown my hat into the ring a couple times, but I've been going over it a couple times, and I sort of just want to show off like some of the things. So first, I was gonna see if first I wanted to show if I can find it. Here it is. This is the previously considered feedback and other stuff like that, or basically the guidelines of what to post and what not to. I thought might as well just go over a couple of things, because actually there are some really interesting stuff in here. There's actually some really interesting stuff in here that actually talks about bits of the game and other stuff like that. So why don't we just start here? After this, we'll go back to my Minecraft world, and I'll show you a couple of the ideas I have. So first, features that naturally inhibit creativity or can be done already in other ways. Basically, these are things that they want you to elaborate more on, or they don't want at all. Any feature that is previously any feature, creature, or whatever related to real life politics, or very specifically religious things, it's a pretty far wide net for a fair bit of interpretation, but it's also a game, so we can't have religious things in there. Guns, all forms of guns, cannons, bazookas, rifles, hand cannons, bazookas, rifles, cannons, and the like. If it can be classified as a gun, it is a solid no. Gunpowder is for TNT, splash potions, and fireworks. I agree with this so much. I don't want guns in my Minecraft. Changing the name of the game is not an option. Self-explanatory. The next one talks about being able to have worlds from, like, taking a world from my tablet and putting on my Nintendo Switch or other stuff like that. Apparently, they're actually starting to consider that. Any forms of bodily fluid or anything like that, that's not in the game. That will never be in the game. The next one talks about, like, add-ons or inspirations, how they occasionally may come into the game. And the next one is about Minecraft in 2017, about not adding the mobs that were selected in the vote around that time. Maybe one day I'll talk to you about it, but it's basically how the Phantom got into the game, but it's actually fairly interesting. Next, we have villagers, and these are things we need to keep in. They tell you to keep in mind about the NPCs or villagers. Characteristics for villagers, NPCs, and mobs are also considered for these creatures. Villagers aren't interested in being following you, or being hired, or help to follow or help. They have their own things to do. This is actually something interesting because, they'll help you out, but you still don't. But they don't want to follow you around. Next, villagers are pacifists. They don't want to fight. This is why golems exist. Let's improve golems, which I want. Which I think it's interesting that they actually mentioned that. They are pacifists. And the golems are just like their guards. Next is they don't want to build things or do anything, but they live and let live. They're pretty chill. No builders, guards, or knights or soldiers. The next one, nitwits do not have jobs. Yeah. Next, please do not suggest players dating or making babies with villagers. It's you. It's you. It's not you. It's them. It's okay. Bring it here. And the last one that's actually fairly interesting, it's villagers are genderless. They are neither male nor female. Which I find interesting, because that also seems to be what happens to all the other animals in Minecraft and other stuff like that. But anyway, next, the builder. For builders, no tile or paintable wood. Current limitations are by design. Makes sense. Combining slabs, putting two slabs together. It would be great, but it just isn't going to happen. No mirrors. Yeah, that would probably wreck the game. Villager golems, which probably are actually going to make their way in at some time. I don't know. Ghost miners that lead you through caves were considered and rejected. Interesting. Dolphin effects are very far out of character for these creatures. Example, fleeing from drowns, and no taming and riding dolphins. Unfortunately. At this time, baby dolphins are not going to be added. Blah, blah, blah. I'll actually one day show you, some of the things that they can do, if I can find an ocean or something. I'm actually thinking about doing, another series where I show off features in Minecraft. There's just scary, then there's just way too dark and scary. We need to make the drown. We don't need to make the drowned or scary. They're not going to drown you. Just keep swimming. Next, mummies and pyramids. Mummies are too similar to husks. Makes sense. The drowned dolphin jockeys. If they're holding tridents, that's not only is that just terrifying, but it's definitely not going to happen. That's a little too much. Ducks just aren't all that they are quacked up to be. I know. That was terrible. Sorry about that bad joke. They even admit it. Realistic sharks are not being considered. Fantasy sharks are definitely more thematic and also more creative, which I like. I actually like how they did that. Oh, and lastly for mobs, no Herobrine. Creepypasta and the like. Fine. We all know he doesn't exist. And I'm going to get a whole bunch of people saying of how he exists. Roof forest and tree houses containing the buildings of illusioners, which probably means that's going to be coming out pretty soon. If you don't know what an illusioner is, it's actually a fairly cool mob. Redwood forests are too similar to Mega Taiga, so they aren't going to be added. Mushroom villages were decided upon as not very likely. Okay. And witch huts are currently determined to be fine. No adding chests. Although in Bedrock you can get potions from inside their cauldrons. Next. Torches losing brightness when exposed to rain. Now, they don't go against it, so that means they're possibly up for it. Sleeping bags. Beds are unique and unlikely there will be any additional furniture items like them. Redstone paste, varieties of the types. Have you seen our wall redstone thread? This will probably cover what you're looking for under the review. So they're basically and it is under review. They're basically looking at what can we do with it? Push them, piston push limits, design. Miner hats are too modern, sadly. Then it has some references. Color water is already possible in cauldrons and other stuff like that. And they aren't going to allow you to take it out. Suggest stacking ender chests or double ender chests or similar ideas. Saddles made of other things than leather. I actually didn't see that one before. 2 comments about food straight from the developers and the designers. We would like the community to focus on foods that are already viable, that are not readily available via mods. Please focus your suggestions on crops or recipes as tomato versus already prepared food such as pizza. Timer blocks, commands, redstone, otherwise. Game mechanics, mob events, /mob events, bedrock, discuss advantages and disadvantages of potentially provides removing it. Sleeping during raids is going to be left as is. If you don't know, I'll go into it sometime. Thirst was discussed. The team indicated they would prefer to focus on hunger mechanics rather than thirst and another mechanism similar with focus. The undo feature / command and probably not going to happen. Mixed potions. So they actually have this. Actually goes to a thing where they actually discuss that in real life, if you were to mix 2 medicines together, you wouldn't actually get like both of them. You'd probably make you sick. So it makes sense why you can't mix cauldrons. Although the person did have a really cool idea for something called the shulkrin, which basically makes you able to move around like liquids inside a cauldron, which I think is cool. Elytra combined with chest plate suggestions. Part of the trade-off is having elytras, basically taking up half your armor. Sun blindness, which I think would, I don't know. No one-shot wonder items, mobs. Okay, if they're OP, overpowered, or excessively destructive, or over the top, just please tone them down. Yes, please. Okay, so that it's basically going over all the stuff there. So let's move on to my ideas. I have put a couple of these up on the website, but for some of them, they are already on the website, and you probably can find them. Somewhere. But for some of them, I plan on putting them back. I plan on putting the ideas on the website. So basically, let's just start. Okay, first idea is I want more illagers. If you don't know what the illagers are, it's these guys. The witch, although not necessarily counted as one. The evoker, the pillager, the vindicator, and the evoker. I love these guys because they're basically just villagers, but evil. But another thing that actually sort of would go into this, I'm going to probably regret this. I want spells. Do you see what the indicator is doing? Yeah, I want to be able to do that. He also has the ability to launch. I'm just gonna get back into creative mode quickly. He also has the ability to summon Vexes. And I wanted something to do with that. I want staffs or magic of some sort. Next, chain armor. Now, chain armor, like, I could see it be done with nuggets, as I have the crafting things right here. Leggings, all that stuff. But there is one problem I have with it. You could make, like, chain, but also the nuggets, like, it makes a little bit more sense. Like, I'm just saying. Next is arthropods. Now, more recently, they announced that there's going to be termites. In one of the next updates, it was like one of the things that was voted on. And with the termites, they mentioned they were going to be so small that you can hit them. I have a problem with this. Like, I'm fine with, like, if there are little termites, but it's a little hard when the things it's closely related to are this big, this big, this big, and this big. Why are they so small if these things are huge? These are infested blocks, by the way. Why are they so small if these things are huge? What's the difference? How is it? Like, I could see them just, like, staying inside, or if they want to keep it like that, just make it, make it so the queen is huge, or something like that. Just, I don't want some of the arthropods to be a little off. Plus, I want them to add more of them, because, well, I like the arthropods. Like, they have Bane of Arthropods, which actually slows down its target. Why do you do nothing with it? Next, Tameable Dragon. I mean, come on. The egg's right here. Just let me do it! Next one is for more combat. Basically, more recently, there's the cooldown system in Java Edition, which is probably going to get moved over to Bedrock fairly soon. But I have an idea with it. Basically, if you were to swipe at the same person same time as another person, you block their attack. That's just my idea, though. Next is iron boats. Now, I know you may be like, why iron boats? Because when I put a boat in water, it does this. Plus, do you know how much the Nether is full of stuff? Yeah, and that happens when you put a minecart in. Do you know how much lava is in the Nether? It'd be so much easier if I could just get across it. Plus, iron is like the only metal that we could actually probably do it with. And before you say, like, oh, iron wouldn't actually work because, well, wouldn't actually work because it's not as dense as metal. You do know there are ships made of steel, which is more dense than iron. Floating. That's how we get a lot of our stuff. Next, black dye. I want the ability to use coal or charcoal to get black dye. Or being able to get ink from squids. Basically, you put this in a crafting table, you get this. Voila. Or, an alternative to killing squids, you go down, and they actually added this recently. If you being able to collect the dye from them when they ink you. Or them letting you be able to have it, or I just don't want to kill squids and I want black dye. I mean, base. Just look at me. I am a squid. I don't want to kill my brethren. I'm sorry, but I don't want to. Anyway, but maybe you could put it over in a cauldron and, get something like this. This is a feature of cauldrons. One of my personal favorites. And last but not least, the problem with predators. Now, in most cases, this happens with the cats, ocelots, and other stuff like that. They go after their prey so relentless, wolves and, other stuff, that they go after their prey so relentlessly that they basically wipe out everything. Like, I'm just gonna put one wolf in here and watch what happens. Wait. In time, he will kill everything in here. By himself. Thus, I have actually come up with a bit of a solution. There be a cooldown feature on it. The predators will only kill off the other animals within a certain amount of time. After that, after that, he won't attack another sheep for 20 minutes or something like that. Making it much easier for animals to stick around and, not destroy everything. Come on, look how much he's already done. Plus, I think it would be a bit of a better thing. It'd be more like a cooldown. You get me? I seriously expected him to do a lot more in this time. But it would basically help everyone. I'm pretty sure it would make a lot more sense because then we could have wolves right next to sheep and not have too much of a problem. Yeah, anyway, those are just my ideas. If you like them, well, you can find me on the feedback website. My name there is Dino'sbreath. Duh. But here he goes after the bunny. But if you enjoyed this video, remember to like, comment, and of course, subscribe. And I guess until next time, I'll see ya. I'm just gonna let this guy do what he wants. Goodbye.